Let's take you now to where to next. In today's episode, Ziyanda Ngcobo travels back to Jagersfontein and discovers a community still battling to recover from the deadly 2022 dam collapse. Malungelo Booi spends time in a town that was once the pride of the Northwest, but residents are now battling with a lack of service delivery, hoping elections will be a turning point for them.
Lichtenburg is a town that was once considered the pride of the Northwest province, but today the community is grappling with remnants of its former glory. Once bustling with prosperity, today it stands as a mere shadow of itself, battling crumbling infrastructure and residents struggling to access even the most basic services. As you enter Lichtenburg, the sight of badly bent train carriages greets you. Lichtenburg, also known as the Town of Light, and yet some locals like Adrian Biekes are still trying to find the service delivery light 30 years into South Africa's democracy. Biekes, a plumber, faces unreliable water supply, often trekking from nearby Bladeville Township for drinking water. The father of four is one of the 74,000 registered voters in the Newzroom municipality. How's life here?
Life is not good. We are struggling with water, and there's only water, and the sewage paper they are blocking here in Lichtenburg.
Yeah.
You see, that's the problem in Lichtenburg. The water, people are suffering with water.
Suffering with water. Have you registered to vote?
Yes.
What do you think your vote will do for you? What is it that you want your vote to do?
They must come and fix the water, the problem of the water and the problem of the sewage paper and the electrician.
In Bladeville Extension 1, clouds loom over the community, mirroring the unmet service delivery needs. Residents demand proper housing, promised by government in a country housing shortages exceeds 7 million. The pressing issues of sustainable clean water supply and improved sanitation persist. However, the lack of service delivery has left some residents hesitant about casting their votes on May 29. Ivote yakho izokwenzela ntoni?
Ake sho gore dira sengwe ka re ke di re through. Re vote mara re bone sepi. Ba re bolela ka one metsi ka matlo metla ka se mara ga gona se se re skria.
A stroll or a drive through Lichtenburg evokes a sense that the town's essence is slowly fading away as its character and rich history diminishes. This once iconic 1959 City Hall, now reduced to ruins and home to criminals.
The state of affairs in this town, they're actually very touchy in the sense that as we found it very difficult to do business in this town.
Benedict Modise is part of the local business group and concedes the litany of service delivery challenges and the decaying Lichtenburg is proving hard for local business. Is business under threat here?
Definitely business is under threat, and why I'm saying business is under threat is that for you to survive, you have to ensure that you've got enough funds to do the work that municipality is supposed to do. And why I'm also saying that business is under threat is that some of the businesses had to close shop in this town because of circumstances or conditions that are not favorable for doing business.
And he's clear that local business want commitment from both provincial and national governments after the May 29 elections to prioritize support for municipalities to ensure that they deliver services.
Is there a political will? When I say is there a political will, I'm not only talking about it at the municipal level, I'm talking in all spheres of government, because the election that we're going to is a national and provincial election.
Based on the experience that we had, we have engaged with several of all the three spheres of government.
Yeah.
And one can say, because it has been just a talk show up to this far, I think if we can actually have an increase as far as the will is concerned, that will address those challenges. Political will has not been in place. The recent government performance index that has been released indicating that municipality within this province, they're actually lying low of the hierarchy.
They're the worst performers.
The worst performers. Yeah. Within municipality, we've got the political instability that is actually saying that the political will within municipality is not in place. And if we can actually bring that in place, also within the province, that will actually address the challenges that we are sitting with.
But in the midst of the crumbling infrastructure, lack of refuse collection and illegal dumping, and even hopelessness, locals are stepping in where they can.
There's something special about Daniel Street here in Lichtenburg, right? Tell me about it.
Yeah, what is very special about this road is that as the business chamber in Lichtenburg, we've put our heads together to ensure that we fix the potholes that were on this road to ensure that the road is trafficable. As you can see, the patches of the work that has been done.
You've also been fixing traffic lights.
Definitely what we did, we've had to step in when we see that municipality was not able to fix the road, the traffic lights. We fixed all the traffic lights in this town.
We reached out to the Ditsobotla local municipality on the service delivery challenges they face and what support they need to address them. Despite a promise for a response, we did not get it.
Like countless others across South Africa, locals here in Lichtenburg hope the crucial May 29 elections will lead to a major turning point in them being able to access basic services as enshrined in the country's constitution.
Said
Families have lost their household.
Second wave, no China gona re safe.
we are going to pull everything together.
This is how many South Africans came to know about this far-flung town almost 100 kilometers away from the Bloemfontein city center. Once revered as the crown jewel of the country, Jagersfontein stands dilapidated and neglected, a mere trace of its former self when it was the home to the 6th largest diamond in the world.
This is one of the towns that is a tourist attraction place. You know, it has got a number of history. It was booming. We even had visitors from abroad that came to, to the big hole. We've got one of the big holes also here in Jagersfontein that people don't know about, that attracted international tourists in terms of that.
Monamodi Mapalane, a lifelong resident of Jagersfontein, fondly recalls the town's prosperous mining era that has now become a distant memory. He's among the many individuals profoundly affected by the tailings collapse in September 2022. Currently residing in a rented accommodation and nearing retirement, Monamodi is one of the claimants in the civil lawsuit against Jagersfontein Development for the devastation brought by the collapse.
I'm glad that I did not even sign, because already staying here in Jagersfontein, when you look at the process of repatriation and whatever and relocating people in terms of the people that have signed, some of them are already complaining, because there are people, because if you look at it now, they want to determine from yourself or on your behalf that this is a priority. Because I've lost cars, I lost the house, I've lost furniture, memorabilia, a lot of things that I've lost. And you can't come and determine which one is a priority for me. So I'm glad that I'm still with the legal representative and Newzroom representing us.
There are many residents like Mona Modi who lost their entire life's worth of belongings in an instant. Organizations like the Brenthurst Foundation have completed a report into what caused the 2022 tragedy, investigating future environmental implications and monitoring progress in rebuilding the town.
How are you? Good to see you. Okay.
David van Wyk has been working with local community activists like Thabo Chobedi to try and ensure the restoration and rebuilding of the town, with a particular focus on post-mining economic development in places like Jagersfontein. Van Wyk, who is passionate about the environment, took us on a tour of the outside of where the tailings collapsed.
That tailings is constructed on a shallow aquifer. That's a body of underground water. It's less than 5 meters below the tailings.
Yeah.
Then there are 3 watersheds running in from behind those tailings. Then, of course, the mine was pumping in sludge into the tailings on the day as well.
Okay. You mean on the day of the collapse?
Yeah. And the mine workers, the Saturday before the collapse, it collapsed on a Sunday, on the 11th of September, the mine workers warned the company to stop pumping. The guys who were at the pump station,
Yeah.
They said the tailings are going to break, and the company ignored them. They told the individual who was informing them that the tailings was going to break, they told him that go back to work, just keep quiet.
The devastation caused by the wall collapse is still being felt today. Newzroom Afrika reached out to the Mantele family, whose relative is still missing years after the disaster. Despite initial willingness, the family declined, fearing it could jeopardize compensation negotiations with Jagersfontein developments. It's understood that they've been promised a house and possible employment for family members who are desperate for any kind of prosperity.
Thank you, Father.
Okay, so I spoke to Mr. Mantele. He's the husband of the woman who was washed away by the tailings, whose body's never been found. He's reluctant to speak to the media because if we look across the road, the house that is there is one that has been allocated to him because his house was washed away in the floods. And he tells me that they are speaking to him about compensation. I asked him whether was there a money price that would replace his wife. He said no, there's no money price that can replace his wife. I asked him whether the company is looking for his wife. He says he met with them last week and he said that they were actively looking for his wife.
Okay.
I doubt very much that they will find her. It's now almost 2 years later. And he seems a little bit afraid to speak because it might jeopardize the compensation, it might jeopardize the access to the house, so I can understand his position entirely.
A casual drive through the town shows that these promises remain unfulfilled, leading to socio-economic challenges in the town. HIV and AIDS is the leading cause of death for the 25 to 64 age group.
Any job opportunities here?
Nothing, nothing. Even now, the mine was meant to develop the community of Jagersfontein, but they decided to give development to the people from Northwest and the West part to a white person.
Government officials, including Deputy President Paul Mashatile, have visited the area to address reparations, local economic initiatives, and infrastructure issues. However, promises of completed houses and job opportunities have yet to be realized.
The Premier has already identified other projects like the solar project that can provide 6,000 jobs, the hemp farming. So there are a number of initiatives that will come, and that's the reason we had a meeting this afternoon with business people who have also committed to come to this area and invest.
Great.
Residents like Susan Mofubetswana continue to face difficulties. Life has never been the same since that fateful day and has instead become worse. She's had to move back to her mother's house. Mofubetswana is one of the residents who says she was told by Jagersfontein Developments that she doesn't qualify for a new house, but rather a repair of damages to her old one. She's also part of the civil suit against the company.
Nna a ke kgona go ya ko mining ke le thusa kopa thuso because ba re ntlo ya ka ke ya se rebuild ba tlo lokisa but ha o sheba ko kamoreng e nyane le botala teng le phanegile and then ntlo ya ka e thutswe ke di lori tse 4 but ba re ba tlo lokisa so ha ba ka lokisa ka montle after 2 years being well, that's why he kgethile gore ke go di lawyer.
She also says there's been no movement since Mashatile's visit a year ago.
Tlhagetswe ke ntho e re tlhagetseng ba tshepisitse ba tshepisa ba ile kaofela gona next a ba tlhage
o tlo vota this election.
Taba ya go vota ke ile ka ipolaela ke go itse nna le modimo wa ka gore bataile ANC yona ka se vote.
Why also voted another party?
Ke tsho ya lo ke re go tshwana go dula ga ka go thusi ke a ya ke lo vote ke tla votela party e se ANC.
Why?
Hai re thusi ka next le yona le last no go tsene meeting re tshepisitse ra tshepiso go ba entseng a ba ire next.
Mofubetswana isn't the only one who shares these sentiments.
Are you going to vote?
No, Mom, I don't think I will vote, and I don't think I must encourage my community not to vote.
How can you encourage your community not to vote?
Because,
maybe
Mama,
the vote was fought for. Maybe you don't have to vote for a particular party. You don't believe any party could help the community of Jagersfontein.
That is why I'm saying I don't think my community must vote, because we made government, but today government is sabotaging us.
Spoor Attorneys is one of the law firms that is assisting residents to legally challenge the mining company.
These settlements are very opaque. They're not open to them, to sharing these. Clients are often settling them on the basis out of utter and sheer desperation after living in temporary accommodation for an extended period of time. And clients really are afraid. They're afraid to act and move with civil litigation, one, on the basis that they lose their interim accommodation, and two, that houses that are getting rebuilt on site will not be allocated to them. And along with this comes a threat that if you engage with attorneys, you may lose this interim accommodation, and you may also lose the opportunity of accessing a house in a shorter space of time. These are very real threats to our client. So in many ways, this has halted the civil litigation, at least on the part of those parties directly injured and who lost their home.
An agricultural cooperative has been formed, and there are now efforts to fully unlock the historical heritage of the region to make it one of the foremost tourist attractions in South Africa.